Hey y'all, welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're making a cake. We're making my grandma's, who is long gone to be with the Lord, but we're making my grandma's devil's food cake. I loved it. It was my favorite cake she made, and it has on it one of my favorite icings. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this from scratch. So don't go anywhere.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is...
So first, let me just say welcome if you're new to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. If you are new and you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do content, my name's Leslie, by the way. I do content mainly on cooking, but farming, grocery hauls, day in the life of, and some clothing things. As you're probably saying, you clothing right now? You know, but anyway, so we're making, by default, this cake today. Let me explain. Well, first of all, let me explain my hair. I've just been out moving cattle from one pasture to the other, and I was on the gator, and my hair was just so. Anyway, and let me explain why this is by default. I'm making this cake today. I had planned all week that tonight I was going to make homemade spaghetti and meatballs, and my homemade spaghetti sauce from... I would start with store-bought crushed tomatoes because I'm out of my home canned tomatoes. But I was going to do that. That's what I'd planned. I'd called Caroline, my daughter, and I said, don't plan food tonight because I'm cooking spaghetti and meatballs. And then it dawned on me. Our worship team is singing at a revival, another church's revival tonight. We've been invited to come and sing. I'm like, I can't cook supper. And that was what I was going to film. So today you're getting a cake. And I have actually been craving this cake. Yeah, bad, I know. But anyway, so we're going to make this cake, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make. Well, since I had not planned on this, I did not lay my butter out. I did not lay my eggs out. So I get to show you a little trick I did to help bring these things to room temperature or slightly softened. I just took a bowl. I took this bowl, to be honest, filled it with water, stuck it in the microwave for about 3 minutes, got it good and hot, brought it out, dumped the water out, and then I had my cold butter, and I just sat the hot bowl on top of it. Now, it's not quite as soft as I would like it because I normally lay my butter out to, I actually lay it out the night before and let it sit out, and then I'm ready to use it. So I'm going to set it on the stove for just a minute while the oven is preheating. But this is a good tip. It will bring, or a glass. You can do a glass. If it's just one stick of butter, you know, heat your glass up and then just set it down on top of the stick of butter, and it'll come to room temperature. And this is much softer because it was ice cold. I mean, ice cold. So it is definitely softer, but I want it a little bit softer. Now, I could do the bowl trick again, but since I'm preheating the oven, I'm just going to set this on top because it does get a little warm. So I'll bring you back as soon as this is ready. The butter has gotten soft enough, so we're going to go ahead and put it in my mixing bowl. I'm going to use my cake stand today, mixer. My stand mixer today. And just whip this up really fast and then worry about dishes later. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just, since it's, you know, it's not quite as soft all the way through as I would like, I'm going to go ahead and give this a head start before I add the sugar. I've whipped the butter up. It's ready for the sugar. But before I put the sugar in, I wanted to go ahead and get my baking soda mixed with my buttermilk. And the reason you do this is because you've got an alkaline and an acidic here. And by mixing them together, it kind of creates a carbon dioxide gas. This is what I've read anyway. And it also takes away any of the bad taste that the baking soda may leave. But that is, there's the baking soda stuck to my spoon. But I'm just mixing that baking soda in with a cup of buttermilk. And I think it just kind of aids in giving the cake a airy, fluffiness, because this cake is very airy and fluffy. And it's like overflowing. So I'm going to set this in this because it's creating that gas. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape that in here. So it don't overflow. Okay. All right. So we'll just let that sit a minute. Let's move over here to the cake stand. See, my butter is whipped up. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of sugar. And we're going to let that beat for just a minute. All right, so let me grab my eggs. We're going to go in with 3 eggs. All right. So now I'm going to get my milk and my flour over here. I'm actually going to, let me cut this off so you can hear me. I'm actually going to go ahead and mix in with my flour. I'm going to mix in my teaspoon of baking powder. What I mixed in my buttermilk was baking soda. And also I'm going to add in 2 heaping tablespoons of cocoa. And I'm just going to give it a, not a thorough whisk, just kind of a quick little top layer whisk. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm going to alternate with the flour. I'm just going to pour in a little at a time. Turn it on slow because you'll get a puff of flour everywhere. I also have a cup of water here. We're going to pour a little bit of that in. And turn it up a little bit. Turn it back down. A little bit of water. And we're going to go in with our buttermilk now. Our buttermilk and baking soda. Now, my grandma would make this in a layer cake. I'm going to do it in a sheet pan today. Let me grab a little vanilla. Going in with just a little vanilla. And I'm going to turn this up. All right, let's lift it up and see if we need to scrape anything down, the sides down, or the paddle. See a little stuff on the paddle. All right, let me give the sides a good scrape. This is such a moist and delicious cake. I want to go down to the bottom. Let me pull my sleeves up. I want to dig down to the bottom and be sure the bottom has gotten incorporated well. All right, now let's give this another little quick mix. Be sure we got everything in there. All right. I got a little flour on my cake thing over here. Okay, that is as easy as that cake can get. I mean, how easy is that? Okay, so I have buttered and floured my pan here. We're gonna lift this up. I'm gonna go ahead and take this paddle off. If Judabug and Levi was here, they would lick that. Yes, even if it has raw eggs in it. Okay. So, let's pour this in my greased and floured pan here. Oh, this cake is so good, y'all. Now, my grandma, instead of using cocoa powder, she would use that baker's chocolate and melt it. But I did not have any of the baker's chocolate, and so, and I mean, I guess one time I didn't have it, and I just started making it with the cocoa, and it's just as good. So, all right, so we're going to put this in a 350-degree oven. And probably I'll check it at about 35 minutes and see where we're at. And then we'll just cook it till it's done. I'll let you know exactly how long that is when it comes out. So I'll see you back in just a minute. Okay, so you may be wondering, y'all, my syrup bottle. This has become like a laughing thing. Good grief, what is that hair doing? The syrup bottle is, I use this every day in something I eat every day on my diet. And this is the sugar-free syrup. And somebody said that they look for the bottle of syrup every video. It's kind of like Where's Waldo, because it moves around. And when I turned the camera on, I could just see it behind me, and I was like, "There's Waldo." But anyway, you may be wondering on a couple of things in this cake, and I've already explained the why you mix the baking soda with the buttermilk. But let me explain. You may be wondering, why is that cup of water in there? Well, let me explain. I just told you my grandma used the squares of chocolate, and she would melt them in the water. Okay, when you use cocoa powder, it's a powder. It's a dry ingredient, and therefore it could potentially make your cake a little drier than normal. So I left the water in the recipe that my grandma would melt the chocolate in. She would just get some hot water and melt the chocolate in that hot water. I keep the hot water, or keep the water, but I don't use the melting chocolate. I use the cocoa powder. So it kind of counteracts the dryness a little bit. And of course that buttermilk makes a delicious, delicious moist cake. So I cannot wait. And y'all, the icing on this cake is one of my very favorites. It's just butter and sugar and milk, and it's just cooked until it spins a thread. It took me a while to understand what spinning a thread meant, because I was not cooking when my grandma passed away, so I was not really able to ask her what she meant by that. So I finally figured out what spinning a thread means, and it's basically when you lift the spoon out and it's dripping. It doesn't drip in drips, it drips in a stream, and it just stays. And so that's what spinning a thread. That's usually around the 225 degree mark, 225 to 230 degree mark. I've got my thermometer in the pan. We're going to test it when we make the icing, but I'm going to get the cake completely out and let it be cooling before I even make the icing. So I'll see you back when the cake is ready to come out. I need to set my timer right now before I forget. Okay guys, the cake is out of the oven. It is, oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So I've got it sitting on this little stand, and we're going to get ready to, we're letting it cool, getting some airflow so it'll cool quickly, and we will make the icing in just a little bit. Okay y'all, let's start on the icing here. In my pan, let me turn this around where I can see it that way. I've got 2 sticks of butter, and we are going to melt that and get that going. I have a whisk here, and I did not get the milk. Let me grab the milk. I'll be right back. Okay, so as the butter melts, I'm going to add 2 cups of sugar. I'm telling you, this icing is so good, but it's just butter and sugar and milk. There goes 1 cup. Oh, this is like some of my favorite memories of my grandma is this cake. Oh my goodness. All right, so to the sugar and butter, let's add in, I wanted to get it all combined before I added it in, but we're going to add in a cup of milk and sweet milk. And if you don't know what sweet milk is, just regular milk. I wish I had whole milk, but I have 2%. My husband always grabs 2%. I always grab whole, he grabs 2%. I guess it's what you were raised on. I mean, I don't drink milk, so I just cook with milk. And, there's still some butter not melted. Okay, so I'm going to cook, just keep stirring. I'm not going to leave this. And I'll bring you back when it gets to the spinning a thread stage and show you exactly what that looks like. This will turn like a tan, like a brown, kind of a yellowy brown, goldeny brown. Y'all, I wish I could describe how good this icing is. And it just brings back such fond memories. My daughter loves this cake so much, and she loves the icing, that she calls this icing cake because it was the cake with the icing that she loved on it so much. So my daughter actually calls this icing cake just because she likes this icing. So I'm going to stand here and just whisk away. I'll turn the heat back up a little bit. I don't want it to go crazy, so I'm not going to have it quite on high, but maybe a medium high. And we're going to let it get to the spinning a thread stage. So I'll bring you back in just a little bit. I do want to show you what is not spinning a thread. So I wanted to show you what it looks like when it's not ready. Take a spoon and just see, I mean, that's pouring, but now it's like drip, 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 drip. Okay, it's got to do more than just drip. So when you pour it, it's going to pour, and then it's going to stay like this when it gets slow. See, now it's just drip, 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 drip. So I'll bring you back when it's actually spinning a thread. Okay, Okay, y'all, we're getting pretty close. I just wanted to show you. You can see that. Wait till it starts dripping, and then when it starts, the drips go a little bit longer. So we're getting close. Not there yet, but getting close. Okay, guys, we are really getting almost there. I wanted to show you what it's doing now. You bring it out, you let it pour, and then when it starts dripping, you see the drips string down just a little bit further down. We are so almost there. And it's going to get some little brown flecks in there, and that's okay, because when I showed you that, I wasn't stirring like I was supposed to be. But it's okay. They're not burnt. It's just where things browned a little bit, and that's okay. That's going to be some good stuff. All right. All right, I'm going to show you what it looks like now. I've cut the heat off, and I'm going to show you how it spins a thread. Now see when this drip, hang on, wait till all the excess goes off. All right, now here, see the thread, how long this drip is going. That is what spinning a thread is, and I would say I got that right at probably 238. The temperature is 238. So I'm going to let this cool and let it thicken to the consistency I want it to spread. So I'm just going to let this cool right here, even with these little brown flecks in it. It's okay. I'll show you. See the little brown flecks? It's okay. That's going to be delicious. Y'all, this icing, oh my goodness, it's so good. So good. I'll show you again the spinning a thread. It's just when the drip hangs down longer and it pulls the icing down when it drips. See how it pulls that icing and makes like a little thread? Okay, hopefully you could hear me. I was talking kind of soft. All right, so I'm just going to let this cool for a little bit, and then we will get ready to ice the cake. I am going to add just a little bit of vanilla to the icing. We're going to give that a good whisk, and yes, that was imitation vanilla. I have the real stuff too, but there's certain things I use different things. So, all right, so we're going to let this cool down now, and then we'll ice the cake. Okay, y'all, here is the icing. It's gotten a little bit thicker than what I wanted, so let me ice the cake, and we'll taste it in just a little bit. Okay, y'all, here is the cake, all iced and delicious. This icing is kind of got like a crustiness to it, but yet a creaminess. I don't know how to describe it. Unless you've had Cracker Barrel's maple cream candies, it's kind of got a little bit of a crust on it, but then when you bite into it, it is the creamiest, wonderful thing. That reminds me of this icing. So hang on. As soon as Bryant comes in, I may do the taste test because I am really wanting this so bad. So we'll see. I got us a big plate because we need a big piece of this cake. So stay tuned. I'm waiting for Bryant to come in. He's out working on the farm. He's actually spreading chicken litter. Yeah. So I'm waiting for him to come in. I've got his soup just coming out of the microwave. And we're going to try this cake. I cannot wait. Y'all, look at this cake. When I said I can't wait, I really can't wait. Like, Bryant hadn't got here yet, and I'm just dying. Look at this. Look at the cake. How soft. I don't know if you can see how soft and moist that is. Oh, my goodness. Okay. My mouth is watering. This brings back the sweetest memories of my grandma. The only thing that would make this more like hers is if I'd have done it in layer cake. But, oh my goodness. There's a little bit, not salty, but of the butter and the icing that just kind of gives you a little hint of, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it other than I love it. The cake is not overly sweet. The butter cuts the sweetness in the icing. It almost sounds like I'm saying it's savory, but it's not savory, but oh, I have missed you. I don't make this often. I have missed you so much. Okay, y'all. I gotta stop. This is such a good cake. I would definitely say this is one of Caroline's favorites. Other cakes, like the strawberry cake is Jamie's favorite. I have another cake that's Bryant's favorite. This is definitely Caroline's favorite. And so I'm gonna take one more bite. Yeah, right. One more bite, and then I'm gonna let Bryant taste it when he comes in. So good. Okay, y'all. So we'll wait for him and let him tell you what he thinks. He's coming in.
Hey, buddy, it's time for lunch.
But before lunch, you get your dessert.
I got my shirt with. Tell them what I've been doing today.
I have.
Spreading
Chicken
joy.
litter.
Spreading joy.
Joy, yeah.
All right. This was your mama's recipe?
My grandma's.
Grandma's recipe.
My
So.
grandma.
Did you tell them this was Caroline's favorite cake?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. I know what this tastes like because I've had it before. Real good.
He can't talk with his mouth full.
I definitely need a cup of coffee with this one.
Or milk. Coffee?
Coffee with this one.
Coffee with that one.
Yep. The sweetness determines if I need coffee or milk.
What's it? That cake's not a super sweet cake. The sweetness is in the icing, but the butter, the salt and the butter kind of cuts that sweetness even a little bit. Such a good cake. It's so moist.
You made one recently that was similar to that one. I can't remember what it was, but it was really good.
I don't know.
There you go. That's your grandma's cake.
Grandma's cake. It is delicious.
What's
Y'all
it
got
called?
to try. She called it her devil's food cake.
What do we call it?
Sinful cake, because it is definitely devil's food cake, because I need to get it out of here.
Yeah, we'll send it to Caroline's.
It reminds me of my grandma so much. I told him the icing has kind of like a little crust, and as it sets up, you know, it's still kind of warm now, but as it sets up, it'll have like a little crust with the creaminess. Oh my goodness.
But the unique thing about the icing too, it's not like your typical frosting icing because you can kind of taste the granulate.
Yeah, the crust. That's what I'm saying. Like, not a grit, but it's the sugar, and it kind of creates a crust, but yet it's creamy. It's so good. See, told you it was good. So, all right, there you have it. This is Grandma Sykes' Devil's Food Cake. So y'all have a great day. If any of my cousins are watching, this is your grandma's cake right here. The only thing I changed was the way I do the chocolate. So, and I didn't do it in a layer cake. Grandma always did it in a layer cake. So anyway, thank you guys for watching The Farm and Pastor's Wife. I love you guys. Remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.